Good morning. My name is Kathy Williams, and I am your worship associate for today. Please rise as you are able and join us in singing number 1010 in the Teal Hymnal. We give thanks.
Good morning. My name is Jim Russell, and I'm the Secretary of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley. Welcome to our congregation. Whether you have been with this congregation a decade or more, or this is your first time, we welcome you. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Whatever your heritage, we welcome you. We respectfully acknowledge the territory in which our church building sits as the ancestral homelands of the Munsee, Lenape, and Wappinger people. I have a couple of announcements this morning. The boutique will be having a special sale after services on December 4th and December 11th. Those are the next 2 Sundays. Come in, get some lively and unique presents, and support the congregation at the same time. As in past years, the congregation will be making the holidays a little bit brighter for victims of domestic abuse and for the unhoused by supporting Hope's Door and Jan Peak House. Instead of purchasing gifts individually, we're asking for donations, and we'll purchase the gift. Please let Terry or Bernie know how much you will be donating by RSVPing to terrylucan1969@gmail.com, and then send the check to Rita, or leave it in the collection plate with holiday giving in the menu, in the memo. Thanks again for your support and generosity. If you have any questions, see Terry during the coffee hour. For the most up-to-date information on these topics and others, please refer to our weekly e-newsletter and check our website frequently. And please join us for congregation after the service. If you're present in the sanctuary, join us in the fellowship hall. If you're watching on live stream, the link for the Zoom coffee hour can be found in the Saturday reminder in your email. If you're just recently joining us and would like to receive our weekly e-news, please email us at uukroton@gmail.com or admin@fusw.org with your name, and we will make sure you are added to our e-news list. If you're here in the sanctuary, please remember to silence your phones and your watches that make noises at this time. Once again, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley.
Before I again gratefully acknowledge our guest speaker, please a reminder to now turn off your cell phones and your watches. some of you. It is my great pleasure to introduce Nora Mulligan. She is the president of the Board of Trustees, a member of the choir, a worship associate, and a member of the Sharing and Caring Committee. She takes great joy in leading services at UUCHV. Please welcome Nora Mulligan.
You don't have to do that. It's okay. Welcome, everybody, to our spiritual home. Welcome from wherever you came from. Let us join together this morning to think, to reflect, to worship together. I'm going to ask our children, or at least our child, to go out and ring the bells 8 times, one for each of our 8 Unitarian Universalist principles.
Okay. Do you want to light a challenge? Thank you. With faith to face our challenges, with love that casts out fear, with hope to trust tomorrow, we accept this day as the gift it is, a reason for rejoicing. And now please join me in saying our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. Inspired by love, our mission is to seek our true nature, connect deeply and openly, and act for justice. And we will now sing the child out. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Let us now bear witness to the joys and sorrows experienced in our community. If you have a brief yet personally significant joy or sorrow that you are willing to share, please come up to the microphone and speak loudly so that everyone, including the people watching at home, can hear you. If you would prefer to only have a candle lit without speaking, please just stand and I will light one for you.
So this is mostly a joy with a little bit of trepidation mixed in. My son Brian and his fiancée Allie excitedly were moving into their new apartment in Hoboken on Friday, and things quickly went south for many reasons. So now Brian and Allie and their 2 dogs and all their clothes and all their things have moved in with us. So hopefully they will find an apartment soon, and we love having them with us, but it's definitely a little bit of chaos. And just one little addition to the announcements. Bernie and I are both here today, so if you'd like to pledge some money for the holiday giving, just let us know the amount, and then the check can go to Rita at any time soon. Thank you.
Yesterday, Ginny and I had the joy and the sorrow of going to Ridgewood for a memorial service of a dear friend, and the person who led the service was Sarah Lindsay. She remembers us fondly, and she is as brilliant service giver as always. And so that was a joy to see her and to reflect on old times.
Well, he took the words right out of my mouth. A little ESP, but just to add on that, we did see quite a number of friends from USR, Unitarian Society of Ridgewood, which is where Jim was a member about 14 years ago and past president there. But we did see quite a number of old friends at the memorial service, which was wonderful because we haven't seen them for 3 years because of COVID. I just wanted to share another joy as well. On Thursday, I took an immigrant family that received asylum from Colombia. It's a mother with her 2 teenage boys, took them in to see the parade, and they were very excited, as you can imagine, having never seen. And we were right on street level at 70th Street, just 7 blocks from the beginning of the parade. So that was really great. And we had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It was one of those sort of last minute, everything kind of got canceled and then sort of pulled together again thanks to Jim's son. So hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving of some sort.
I want to remember John Zaleski and his wife Nancy and daughter Amanda. I know no details, but I heard this past weekend that John passed away. Some of you may remember them. They were past members here. We also acknowledge all the unspoken joys and sorrows held within the sanctuary of our hearts, and all those people who have yet to find a spiritual home where they can share their joys and sorrows.
I invite you now to join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation. Please settle in a little more comfortably. Close your eyes if you wish. Allow your body to relax into this sacred space. Let all the tensions of the week leave you. Breathe deeply. Breathe out slowly. Breathe in compassion. Breathe out peace. Picture a moment in your past when you lost hope, when you felt there was no way forward, when you couldn't see the light. Remember that moment. Think about how it felt. Think about where you were. Think about how it affected you. Now I want you to think about what saved you. What brought you out of that moment of hopelessness, of fear, of inability to see a way forward? Was it a person? Was it nature? Was it a thing? Remember as clearly as you can the moment when hope returned to you. Please join me in a moment of silence, which will be followed by a musical meditation.
The reading Nora chose are words from Dr. Judith Rich. Rich. What's hope got to do with it? For the hopeless, hope is a match in a dark tunnel, a moment of light, just enough to reveal the path ahead and ultimately the way out. Hope is a flashbulb that lights up a room, revealing everything in it, and then the room goes black again, leaving an imprint in our memory of the hidden landscape. Hope gives a glimpse of possibility not seen in the darkness. Hope shows the way, but for an instant only. We must act on it, or it becomes nothing more than a pleasant memory, a feel-good moment. Hope is the mother of change. It is the womb of discontent from which change is born. Hope is the spark that lights the fire of inspiration and imagination. It's hope that ignites the flame, but we are the ones who must add fuel to the flames to keep the fire alive. It's our commitment, passion, and intention that transforms that spark into the raging fire. Barack Obama was right when he urged us to believe in hope and change. He never said that we wouldn't have to work for it or that it would be easy. But change begins with a spark of hope in a possibility that is not yet made manifest. It is through our belief in that possibility and our intention to have it become reality that hope can turn into change. I think he was also correct when he said it was all about us. It's about us working together to effect the changes we seek. Please rise in body and spirit and join in singing hymn number 396 in the gray hymnal, I Know This Rose Will Open.
Good morning, everyone. This is a round, so you know what we're going to do. We will sing it through once in unison, and then this side will start on their own, and this side will enter where the number 2 is at the beginning. And we'll sing it through 3 whole times so we can keep that vision of that beautiful rose open.
I asked you during the meditation to think about a time when you came close to losing hope, when you felt hopeless. For me, it was when I discovered that Donald Trump had been elected president. I remember I felt as if the ground had opened up under me and nothing was secure, nothing was solid, there was nowhere you could stand. I couldn't understand it. didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to think that so many of my fellow Americans had looked at that person with all of his obvious and myriad flaws, looked at the hate and resentment that he was offering, and chose him to be President of the United States. If we were all like that, if the majority of Americans really believed that, then I felt I couldn't maintain any possibility of hope for the future. It was heartbreaking because, naive or not, I really did believe that America was beginning to bend the arc of history toward justice. And this was such a massive leap in the opposite direction that it shook all my feelings about who and what we were as a nation. I remember that the library had a staff meeting the next day with a new director I didn't know yet. And I looked around the room and I wondered who, among the people I knew and had worked with for years, might have voted for Trump. But remember, the other thing that I asked you to think about was what restored your hope. What brought you back from that precipice? And for me, it was the Women's March in Washington, D.C., the day after the inauguration. I didn't go. I had a work obligation that day. But I made hats for the people who did go. And in the process of getting together with other like-minded people to knit hats, I realized I was not alone, that there were many of us, and that we could stand together and do something. Seeing the images of that march, seeing all those people taking action, that was powerful. That restored my feeling that we weren't doomed after all, that we could survive this, that we could keep the worst from happening. It gave me back my hope. And every act of resistance, the lawyers rushing to the airports to fight against the Muslim ban, the marches, the letters to representatives and senators and papers, the elections of 2018 and 2020, every act of resistance was a statement of hope. But what is hope? Emily Dickinson famously said, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." St. Paul referred to hope as the anchor of the soul, and in Christian imagery, hope is represented by an anchor. Dr. Rich, in today's reading, called it a match, a spark. The main character in I Never Promised You a Rose Garden called hope the little maybe. Pretty disparate images, huh? You've heard the saying, where there's life, there's hope, but I think that's backward. Where there's hope, there's life. When you no longer have hope, when you can no longer see the possibility that things could be different, that things could be better, you're in trouble. You're in despair. And despair is a kind of spiritual death, which sometimes can lead to literal physical death as well. It's not enough, though, just to see the possibility that things could be better. That could just be daydreaming or wishing or looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, and none of those things are hope. The way you can tell it's really hope is that it gives you the power to act. Hope is vision and intention, and it leads to action. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't rely on the Christian source of hope, the idea that we are saved from sin and will go to heaven after we die. The source of our hope is our covenant, our relationship with each other and with our principles. Just look at the principles, for Pete's sake. Not one of them describes the world as it is. Recognition of the inherent worth and dignity of each person. We live in a society where the powerful are trying to stomp on people they see as different or weaker, whether they're trans children, homeless people, or African Americans. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Just look at what governments in some of our states are doing. Lying to refugees to drop them in other states without warning to the other states, with the idea that the refugees would be rejected there and left without resources. That's the opposite of compassion. Acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations? Well, we try. Whether we've actually achieved that is another matter, and it's unfortunately not a given. A free and responsible search for truth and meaning in a society where alternate facts are given as much weight as real facts, where science is rejected in favor of prejudices and convenience. The right of conscience and the use of democratic process within our congregations and in the society at large. Do I even have to point out the gerrymandering and the voter suppression that was so obvious in our last election and in elections before that? The goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Russia's unprovoked war with Ukraine, repression and violence throughout the world. Respect for the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. Climate change denial. Journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our communities. Look around you. Look at the deeply entrenched systems of racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia. Is it possible to see this principle as anything but aspirational? But that's the point. We are living by principles, or at least we're trying to live by principles, that are aspirational. They are not easy. They might not even be practical, as far as looking at the world around us can tell us. But we've promised each other, and we've promised ourselves, that we will live up to those principles, no matter how far those goals are from the world we live in now. That takes hope. That takes an incredible amount of hope. I don't believe any of us could even begin to live as Unitarian Universalists if we didn't have hope. Hope is built on trust. Trust in ourselves and our abilities. Trust in each other and our connections with each other. Hope is built on love, because you can't want better things for the world and for your fellow beings if you don't love them. Hope creates courage, the kind of courage that makes people do things that might objectively seem out there, even crazy. Speaking truth to power, building alliances, standing up for what's right. And best of all, hope is contagious. One person's spark of hope can light that spark in someone else, and someone else, and someone else, and on and on. Our hope, our actions taken as a result of our hope, can bring warmth and light to the world. May we be filled with hope. May we bring hope to each other and to all the world. Blessed be. Amen. I am really glad that Al is here, because I specifically promised him the next song would be back in September, okay? What's the number? 159. Number 159 in the gray hymnal. Please join us.
Each week, we make an offering from the bounty we are blessed to enjoy. We do this in a spirit of love and generosity, aware that we have benefited from those who have gone before, those who in their turn gave generously. Our offering goes to support the work of love and justice undertaken by this community. Today's offering will also be shared with the organization Cure 100. Please refer to our e-newsletter, order of service, or website for more information. You can make your donation in several ways. If present in the sanctuary, you may give cash or a check in the offering plate as it comes by. You may also scan the QR code in your order of service. From your homes, you can make a donation via credit card or PayPal using the links provided in the e-newsletter. Please remember to give a little extra to compensate for the 3% surcharge. Or if you prefer, you can always mail us a check. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. Please join me in the dedication of the offering. The words are in your order of service. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith. Please join me in extinguishing the chalice. The words are also found in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
This world can be a dark place, a scary place, a dangerous place. It is our role to bring hope to the world, to keep hope alive in ourselves, and to warm and light the world with the hope that we have. May we go forth in hope and joy and blessing. Amen.
And if you care to join in on the words on hymn number 344, I welcome you to do so. A promise through the ages reigns.